Today is a beautiful day in a continent that have got nearly everything, but the changing climate is already redefining the contours of this continent. From droughts in the Sahel to the Horn of Africa, to floods manifested through cyclones that have impacted millions in southern African region, especially Zimbabwe, Malawi, Mozambique. But the African continent, under the changing climate, from the coastlines of West Africa to the savannas of Southern Africa, to the beautiful mountains of East Africa, and to the rainforests of Central Africa and the golden sands of North Africa, tells us one thing, that Africa is a continent that is too rich to be poor. And it is my pleasure today to come before you and sum up the discussion that we're going to drive across the continent in one of my best African proverbs. The best way to eat an elephant in your pap is to cut it up into little pieces. This African proverb best encapsulates why I've come before you today. As youth of the African continent, as honorable citizens of the African continent and friends of Africa, there are two things we cannot dispute. Firstly, while Africa stands out as the most resource region of the globe, we come in last. For example, Africa has the best solar resource in the entire planet, yet over 600 million in the continent. That is about 60% are without electricity. And it is the highest globally. Over 4% of the potential gross domestic product of the continent is lost for lack of relevant power. Africa has the most arable land. That is Africa having over 65% of the world's arable land right here in this continent. Yet as we speak, over 257 million citizens go to bed with their stomach aching of hunger, the highest globally. Nearly 60 million children do not have enough food. 9 out of 10 African children do not meet the criteria for minimum acceptable diet. Cumulatively, child hunger has reduced the continent's present GDP by 10% and projected to rise to 17%. Youth of Africa, distinguished citizens of the continent and friends of Africa, think with me for a moment. How can Africa, a continent with everything, lack everything? This is an unacceptable fallacy. Secondly, we cannot dispute the fact that solving these challenges is not a walk in the park. They truly are an elephant on the path to Africa's prosperity, but the secret is to chip away at them, piece by piece. And we have the tools which we now must apply, and this is what we will discuss in this new fun episode to drive Africa's narrative in a way that is bigger than that of poverty, to drive Africa's story in a way that is bigger than that of poverty. And this episode is Africa's development journey. It's Christian Africa's development journey on accelerating Africa's socio-economic transformation under the changing climate and leveraging on the principles of innovative volunteerism. You and me will discuss on what our responsibilities are in changing this very sorry narrative of a continent with everything lacking in everything. A rich continent that is poor. Africa is too rich to be poor. And it starts with what is articulated in one of these very insightful African proverbs. Don't set sail with using someone else's start. We must therefore shun dependency in this continent. And it starts with you and me. We must shun victimhood. And it starts with you and me. We must shun selfishness and individualism. And it starts with you and me. Let's meet right here on this first episode. Dare not to miss it out, because Africa needs you and me. And together, we can truly change Africa's narrative to be one bigger than that of poverty under the changing climate. Don't miss it. Africa's Development Journey episode coming up soon.